The former first-round pick of the Las Vegas Raiders, Damon Arnette, is in trouble again. TMZ is reporting on this. We're going to give you the details of what happened with Damon Arnette and also his legal situation that's happening from a prior case against a valet service worker. But this is really unfortunate for the Raiders. You know, we've had a lot of negative news last year with the Henry Ruggs situation, the Gruden hit job, to be honest, and that's really, in my opinion, not too much Gruden's fault. But you got players like Damon Arnette, Henry Ruggs getting in trouble with the law, and Damon Arnette just continues to make these mistakes despite the fact that he was actually given a chance by the Chiefs, had signed a future reserve contract with the Chiefs, I believe in February, and then after the story emerged with the valet worker, was eventually released. So what happened with Damon Arnette today, TMZ is reporting he was in Miami Beach, Florida. And what had happened is he was driving with a suspended license, pulled over by the cops. I believe he claimed that he did not know he had a suspended license, and so the cops gave him a warning and let him have his friend take the wheel and said, all right, we're going to let you off with a warning. Your friend who does not have a suspended license, let's just let him drive the car, and then we'll move on. And this was at about 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific time in Miami Beach. And then what happened 4 hours later, the same cops see Damon Arnette driving in the same neighborhood. And they're like, what the heck? We just told this guy 4 hours ago that, he can't be driving with a suspended license. And so then they went and they stopped him. They arrested him on driving, knowing that he had a suspended license, willingly driving, knowing he had a suspended license. And then what happened is while they're arresting him, while they're searching him, they eventually found in his pocket some cocaine. They found some cocaine in his pocket, so he's arrested right here on some drug possession charges. Now, this whole, let's just go through this whole story of what has happened so far with Damon Arnette. He's always been a risky player from the get-go, but people thought maybe he could still have some talent. He's been around NFL talent from his uncle and was mentored by him, so maybe we thought he could shine, especially given the fact that at Ohio State, he was opposite of Okudah, and Okudah was the highly touted, number one corner in that draft class in 2020, and so Damon Arnette had to cover a lot of talented people because people wouldn't want to line their best receiver up against Okudah most of the time. So Damon Arnette did have potential. But what had happened is, remember, back in 2020, we did not even find out about this. We didn't even know about this in 2020 until 2021. In 2020, you've seen some video possibly released by a local Las Vegas news. Damon Arnette had a hit and run with a woman, eventually just let his friends take care of it while he went to practice. He was heading to practice, hit a lady, had a hit and run, and not exactly a hit and run. What he tried to do is switch his friend out as the driver and let him take the rap for it. There's even this weird video where Henry Ruggs' brother is trying to haggle with the person who he hit his car into, and it wasn't a major hit. It was like property damage, that style of a hit. It's not like anybody died or anything, but it did damage that other person's vehicle. And you got Henry Ruggs' brother trying to haggle with him, offering him free jerseys to let this go away. I don't know if these jerseys could replace, the fender bender of my car or whatever, but that's what had happened in that case. We didn't even hear about that until a year later. And then you had the infamous situation. I have a video on it. It's one of my most popular videos. Damon Arnette with the gun on Instagram. I believe he's talking to maybe a hater fan or something, but he's got the gun out saying, pull up, and that he's going to kill somebody. And he had Mike Mayock give the famous press conference after they released Damon Arnette that we cannot stand for Damon Arnette on social media, on video, threatening to take a life. We can't stand for that as an organization. That really was the last straw that led to his release. But what is interesting about that is there's no criminal charge with the Instagram story of him pointing the gun at the camera, threatening to kill somebody. There's no criminal charge. Nobody who was on the receiving end filed any charges against that. So it really is just bad publicity right there. And also, key thing that happened today with the valet driver, that happened after the Instagram video. With that valet driver, it was alleged that Damon Arnette was irate with valet drivers and even threatened one specific one with a gun, and he got in trouble for that, right? But today, just according to Pro Football Talk, it was announced by the court that he would face no criminal charges. And Damon Arnette's lawyer is actually arguing that if you look at the video surveillance, it shows that Damon Arnette did not even have a gun and didn't point it at anybody. So I want to be critical of Damon Arnette in a certain respect, but I also want to maintain the fact that you are innocent until proven guilty. And when we do hear some of these stories, we don't always know exactly how it shakes out until there's an investigation, until the courts make some decisions about it. And with this valet driver, this thing that was alleged was really intense, and we just talked about it a little bit earlier, but today it's actually been broken that he's not going to face criminal charges. Now, I don't know for sure if the court reviewed the video, but that's what the lawyer maintains. However, I believe if they did have access to the video and it did show Damon Arnette pointing a gun at this valet driver, then he probably would face some criminal charges, right? So we can maintain that he is innocent in this regard. But he did have the problem, with the possession of cocaine, with driving without a license today. He has previously had the hit and run situation, and he's had the Instagram video. But there's only two of them that are actually crimes. The Instagram video is not a crime because nobody has pressed charges on him. So really is just bad publicity right there. So is he for sure not going to be a part of the NFL? I'm not sure. I don't think the case is fully closed. Now that the valet driver thing is somewhat over with, right? There is still an opportunity for him to get in the NFL. You saw the Kansas City Chiefs put a future reserve contract on him, and then the valet driver thing kind of messed that up. So maybe we'll see him in the AFC West this year. Who knows? Either way, just wanted to give you guys an update. I know he's no longer a Raider, but he's still a former first-round pick, very recently too, and he's still part of the history of the Raiders. And we can't forget history. History tends to repeat itself, and it weighs on the present all the time. So, hey, like this video if you watched it all the way through, and subscribe to the Raiders Rundown for more Raiders content. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.